In the HoloLens, you have to know exactly which spells are going to combine to leverage against your enemies, and which ones to be wary of yourself. There's a whole slew of combinations and interactions in this world, and not all of them are very well known by even us veterans. Hi everyone, my name's Crazy Guitar Man. I stream on Twitch and post on Twitter and Instagram at CJM_Jared, and we also have a Discord, links down below. But for now, I'm going to show you every interaction in Spellbreak. But before we get into the fancy stuff, let's start with the basics of each element first. The wind spell, known as Wind Shears, is very good at clearing out other elements from the battlefield. The sorcery, known as Tornado, is also very good at doing this while pulling players into the center, especially if they're in the air. Toxic is all about getting close and shredding that armor off. The spell is known as Toxic Spray, and it has a shotgun effect to it. If you're a toxicologist, then this spell will also leave toxic puddles on the ground when you use it. Her sorcery is known as Toxic Cloud. You throw a projectile that explodes on impact, leaving a toxic gas that damages all players within the area. Any toxic damage other than from puddles leaves a corrosion effect, which deals 4 damage per second for 3 seconds to armor. Stone Shaper is all about hitting them hard and hitting them heavy. When you can, that is. Her spell is known as Shockwave, and it damages players on or near the ground. Her sorcery is known as Boulder Fall, and you guessed it, you just throw a big rock at somebody. Anyone in the sky is sure to fear a lightning user. Her spell is known as Lightning Bolt, and it's the closest thing to hit scan within the game. Her sorcery is Lightning Strike, and whichever lucky player it decides to hit is shocked for 2 seconds. Fire is all about, well, lighting fires pretty much. Her spell is known as Fireball, and it acts very similar to a rocket in other games while leaving a fire puddle on impact. Her sorcery is Flame Wall, where you cast a segmented wall of flames in front of you. Damaging a player with any fire source gives them Ignite, which deals 4 damage per second for 2 seconds. Frost gives up its close range potential for long-range snipe capabilities. Its spell is known as Ice Lance, and you charge it up before releasing a single precise high-damage attack. If you're Frostborn, it also leaves a trail of ice puddles, perfect for closing the distance. Your sorcery is known as Flash Freeze, which gives you some protection while also freezing any enemy players within the area until they freeze for up to 2 seconds or they take damage from any source other than puddles. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get into some actual combinations. Wind Shears can collide with one another. Wind Shears remove water puddles, ice puddles, and toxic puddles on contact with them or a player standing on top of them. However, ice and toxic puddles will leave ice or toxic mists in the area. Wind Shears will dissipate toxic clouds in 5 hits. The Wind Shears will carry the toxicity and create toxic mists on impact. Wind Shears carrying toxicity cannot be ignited by fire. Wind Shears also remove steam puddles in a few hits. Wind Shears affect the momentum of the toxic cloud projectile, Boulder Fall, and Fireball, potentially bringing any of them to a full stop. Wind Shears will carry a shock effect if they pass through lightning, however it was difficult to test this with a teammate. A single Wind Shear can extinguish an infinite amount of fires, whether that's flame puddles, flame wall segments, dragonfire puddles, or dragonfire flame wall segments. Tornado removes water puddles, ice puddles, toxic puddles, steam puddles, toxic mists, and ice mists. Tornado also removes Toxic Cloud, creating a toxic whirlwind or a Toxnado in its place. Tornado heavily affects the trajectory of Toxic Spray, the Toxic Cloud projectile, Boulder Fall, Fireball, and slightly affects the trajectory of Ice Lance. Toxic Spray is infinitely blocked by fires, creating Dragonfire. Toxic Spray will turn water puddles and ice puddles into toxic puddles on contact with them or a player standing on top of them. Toxic Spray combines with steam puddles to create miniature toxic clouds. Toxic Spray will toxify a tornado, creating a toxic whirlwind or a Toxnado. Toxic Cloud also toxifies tornadoes. Throwing a Toxic Cloud through fire ignites it, exploding as Dragonfire on impact. Shockwaves can block other shockwaves. Shockwave removes toxic puddles and water puddles and shatters ice puddles and the ice block, creating an ice mist in the area. Shockwave blocks fireballs, as well as Wind Shears. Shockwave will carry fire with it through flame wall segments, fire puddles, dragonfire flame wall segments, and dragonfire puddles. Curiously, it will destroy fire puddles, but not dragonfire puddles. 2 boulder falls can collide and destroy each other, however if one is an ice boulder, it will leave an ice mist where they collided. Boulder Fall will block Toxic Spray, Toxic Cloud, and Lightning Bolts without any interaction. Throwing Boulder Fall through any fire will ignite it, creating a fire boulder, leaving a fire puddle on impact. The fire remains normal even if thrown through Dragonfire. Boulder Fall removes toxic puddles and water puddles, and shatters ice puddles and the ice block, creating an ice mist in the area. Lightning Bolt will electrify toxic puddles, frozen toxic puddles, water puddles, and ice puddles on contact with them or a player standing on top of them, giving them a shock effect. In a much larger area, Lightning Bolt also electrifies steam puddles, the ice block, toxic clouds, and frozen toxic clouds. This includes a toxic cloud projectile mid-flight, granting the shock effect on impact. Lightning Bolt also electrifies tornadoes, creating a lightning tornado. You can combine this with toxic whirlwinds, adding the lightning or the toxic in either order. Lightning Strike also electrifies everything in the exact same way as lightning bolts. A very well-timed Lightning Strike can stop Shockwave in its tracks. Lightning Strike is pulled towards any ground fire. However, if the player is inside of Lightning Strike, then it'll go towards them instead. Compare this with Tornado, where if there's a tornado and a player in Lightning Strike, it'll hit the tornado. The strange thing is that Lightning Strike will hit a ground fire over Tornado. However, if you put all three inside of Lightning Strike, even though the tornado should protect the player, it'll hit the player instead. Fireballs can collide with each other. Fire will ignite toxic puddles and frozen toxic puddles on contact with them or a player standing on top of them. This effect chains to other connected puddles. Fire will ignite toxic clouds and frozen toxic clouds, exploding as dragonfire. Fireballs block toxic spray. Fire will ignite a tornado, causing a fire tornado. You can combine this with toxic to cause a tornado to explode vertically as dragonfire. In full, you can electrify a tornado, then throw toxic and fire in there to explode and shock anyone nearby. Throwing a fireball at a boulder will cause it to ignite as a fire boulder. You can also use a fireball to melt an ice boulder into a normal one. Fire will immediately turn water puddles, ice puddles, and an ice block into steam. However, hitting a player standing on ice will first melt it into water and then turn the water into steam. Fireball and Ice Lance cancel each other. Flame Wall will melt and ignite the exact same things that Fireball does. Any ground fire will block one Ice Lance. Ice Lances can collide with each other. If you're Iceborne, shooting an Ice Lance will freeze any toxic and water puddles. Ice Lance will turn toxic clouds into frozen toxic clouds and steam puddles into ice blocks. However, if there's a player standing in neither of them, this will turn into Ice Mist instead. Shooting a boulder with the Ice Lance will turn into an icy boulder, leaving an ice mist on impact. You can also shoot a fire boulder with Ice Lance to extinguish it. Ice Lance can stop Shockwave. Flash Freeze will freeze things similarly to Frostborn Ice Lances. Flash Freeze will also extinguish any ground fires. Flash Freeze will turn Boulder Fall into an ice boulder, and Toxic Cloud into a frozen toxic cloud. The edge of Flash Freeze will block wind shears, lightning bolts, fireballs, prevent the spawning of flame wall segments, and turn toxic spray into ice projectiles. So that's every single combination in Spellbreak. Let me know if there's anything that I missed that you guys might have known about in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you want to see more from me in the future. Also stop by the Twitch stream if you want to catch me live, join the Discord if you want to be a part of the community, and check out the Twitter and Instagram if you guys want some daily content from me. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, let me know what you want to see in the future or if you have any suggestions, and I'll see you in the HoloLands.
Cool. Got him. Hey! Bot matches. Got him. Let's see how oblivious this guy is. Got him. I just picked up a frost and sniped him.